Hi friends, and welcome to episode 5 of Booked Up. I'm Michaela, and I cannot believe that I've been doing this for over a month now. This is episode 5 now. That's mind-boggling to me. It hasn't been easy, it hasn't been smooth, but I am determined to keep going. There's sometimes where I'm like, what do I talk about? What do people want to hear about? And I get so busy with like actual real life and work stuff. But hopefully everything will start slowing down soon and I can start to grind out a little bit more and be able to plan more and be more consistent and post on TikTok about it and post more often on my Instagram. So sometimes an episode might not be like posted on time. It might be posted a day or two after my desired posting date. Like this episode's going up on Thursday and not Tuesday because I'm busy. I'm so busy. It's fair season. My boyfriend and I, especially my boyfriend, he's very involved with the fairs, so we are always going to that. I had some photography sessions to do. Obviously work, I was finishing up the last of my internship and turning in my last college paper, so officially done with college. I am a graduate. I graduated with a bachelor's of science. Sorry. I've been having some wine, if you didn't notice it on the desk. We're drinking. We are going to have some wine. We're going to hang out for a little bit. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I graduated with a bachelor's in science in multimedia journalism with a minor in marketing. So it's something that I enjoy doing. Wow, I've had half a glass and I can't speak. I am such a lightweight. So college is officially done. I just choked on my spit. I am currently still at the place where I had my internship for another couple weeks. We are trying to decide and figure out what's going to happen after that. So it's a time of not knowing a whole lot, and I know I want to keep doing this. So I have to be more disciplined and tell myself that this is a full-time job after my full-time job. I think I've said that before. But either way, I'm happy to be here. To this episode, I wasn't sure what to talk about. I feel like a lot of episodes I'm not going to know what to talk about because, one, I'm doing this by myself, so maybe that's something that I should start maybe looking for a co-host for. Wow, my throat feels so funny. Canada's been having some wildfires, and the smoke has been coming down to northern Wisconsin. So the weather outside isn't great, and pollen and allergies are really bad. So I can feel it in my throat that my voice, I can feel in my throat that it is scratchy and feels funky. Anyways, back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Co-host. I've talked to some of my book besties that I've met through social media. If any of them may potentially want to be a co-host or some guests, or maybe we'll rotate through. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a 3-person podcast. You can only talk by yourself for so long before you run out of things to talk about, if that makes sense. I go on tangents that I know could be a lot longer and a lot better and probably talk about more ideas if I had another person here to bounce ideas off of. So I would have to figure something out with that because obviously they're internet friends. They are not in the same location that I am. So we would have to figure out some sort of Zoom or who knows what. We'll have to figure something out. But I think that can happen in the near future. But I also want to know more what other people want to listen to, and maybe I should start expanding my podcasting palette a little bit more and listening to other people's. Like, I have like a set group that I listen to all the time, but I feel like I should expand more to hear what other people are talking about, get ideas, obviously not copy what they're talking about, but, like, just get some inspiration of what people are hearing, what people are talking about, what people want to hear about. And yeah, so who knows how long this episode is going to be, because my notes for this week are pretty short, but I'm also forcing myself to go a little bit shorter on my notes, so it's not so scripted, and it's more real and raw and actually me talking. So yeah, now I just have like bullet points and like an introduction of important things and all of that. And I'm going to keep these episodes to a minimum of editing. I'm going to cut out big, like, Ike. I want to cut out big, like, gaps that I don't say anything, or maybe I'm taking a drink of water or a drink of wine, or I'm just like lost in thought. I will cut those out, obviously, but for the most part, editing is going to be kept to a minimum, which will be fun. Make it easy on me, and make it authentic. Make it authentic sounding for what I'm talking about. Even if I talk about the same thing 5 times, you guys can let me know and be like, hey, go back to being on a script because you repeated yourself 100 billion times, or just let me be and don't be mean, because I will cry. Okay, let's get into the first part of this episode, even though that was basically like the first part. But anyways, let's dive into the book part of this whole podcast. I just recently finished I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy, and it was a roller coaster. It really changes how you look at these child stars of your favorite shows, like especially iCarly and Sam and Cat. I didn't really get into Sam and Cat because that came out at a weird time where I felt I was much older and I wasn't really watching kid shows like that anymore. But I was a big iCarly stan, and hearing about what Jennette experienced in her time through iCarly, I don't think I could go back and rewatch the seasons now, knowing what was happening behind the scenes and like what was happening in her daily life and where her mental health was and physical health was. Like, I don't think I can go back and rewatch it now knowing that. And she does bring up Miranda calling her to go on to the reboot, and no matter how much Jennette was going to be paid, no matter the publicity, anything like that, Jennette stood her ground and said no, which I think is so brave and powerful and just empowering as a woman to say no matter how much pay you got, or in someone in the industry. Just, she wasn't doing this for the fame. She didn't want to act. Spoiler if you haven't listened or read this, but she was pretty consistent with saying that she didn't want to act and she didn't like the lifestyle. So her saying no, it wasn't really a shocker, but I was proud of her. I choked up while I was listening to this. I listened to this on Spotify. It was only like 6 or 7 hours long. I think 6 hours long on Spotify. So it was a really, really quick listen. But I understand why Jennette did do acting, is because she didn't want to disappoint her mom. And someone who is really, really close to her mom, me, I understand doing what will make her happy instead of making yourself happy. Like, you want to make your mom proud. You want to keep her proud of you. You want to keep that good side, and like, you never want to disappoint your mom. I feel like no one ever wants to disappoint their mom, but this, with Jennette's case, It was intense. It was a guilt. She basically said in the book it was abuse, and I agree that it was abuse. It was insane. Like I said, there were a few chapters I was listening to and I would gasp in my car to myself. I'd be listening to this at work and I'd start tearing up, I'd start choking up. Like, it was emotional and it was crazy to hear all that she went through from ages 5, 6 years old up until her mom died. Even past when her mom died, she still had so much trauma to go through and cope with, and so many bad habits and tendencies she had to try and break. Like, it's insane. It's, like I said before, it's mind-boggling of what she went through. And you couldn't tell on the show because she was a good actress. Like, she put on a face and she went out there and performed to make your mom happy. And it's just so crazy. Jennette McCurdy is truly the strongest, most powerful woman ever. And I'll probably say that about a lot of people, but with a show that I grew up with so fondly, and yeah, I watched Drake and Josh, and Drake came out about his essay and what he experienced. I feel really bad about that, and he was really strong and powerful for coming out. But I grew up with iCarly more, so this one just hit closer to home. And it's just so crazy that all of these child actors and actresses are coming out with their stories, because it's changing everything that I watched growing up. It's changing my views of these shows, of these children that I was like, oh, they're so cool. They're my age. I wish I could be them. I wish I could be on those shows too. To now see that what their experience wasn't cool or lived up to the hype that we all saw it as. So in the end, I gave this memoir. Is it a memoir? Yes. Yeah? I give Jennette McCurdy's book a 5 out of 5 stars. I give a lot of book 5s out of 5s, but this one I loved. I listened to it so quick. I listened to it daily, and I'm usually a big podcast person almost every single day. I hardly ever listen to music, but this was one audiobook that I could not stop listening to, and I listened to it in the grocery store, I listened to it at work, I listened to it in my car, I listened to it at home when I was cleaning. It was so good. So I recommend, if you have Spotify and you get audiobooks on there and you can, it's in your premium, listen to that. It was in my premium, whatever, what is it called? Whatever, package of Spotify I'm paying for, whatever service, whatever plan I have on Spotify, it was free for me. Free. But that's where I listened to it. Definitely give it a listen. I feel like more people need to be aware of what has happened in the early stages of child actors and actresses. Okay, now let's move on. We are going to do a mini Q&A for you all to get to know me a little bit more. And I asked on both of my Instagrams for some questions, and let's answer them now. I just got a few of them from you guys. I got least favorite book. I would say my least favorite book, if I'm looking behind me, would have to be the If You Had Been With Me. Where is that at? That is right there. That was my least favorite book that I have read in the last year or two. Favorite book series growing up. What's funny is I didn't really read books much growing up. I only recently got into reading in the last 2 years almost, just about. So growing up, I didn't touch books. I was outside hunting with my dad. I was watching movies. I was doing anything but read. So I didn't have a favorite series growing up, but my favorite series since I've really kickstarted reading is the Knock 'Em Out series by Lucy Score. That is, I have them right behind me up on my top shelf. That is Things We Never Got Over, Things We Left Behind, and Things We Hide from the Light. Those are my favorite. That's my favorite series. I always think about that series all the time. I loved it so much. I ate up those books so quick. What is your go-to genre for reading? I would say my go-to is romance. I love a romance book. They just get me every time. I'm always giggling and kicking my feet and blushing. And it's something that I read 100 times in 100 different books. But you can never go wrong with a romance. So that is my go-to genre for books. My camera battery died, so I don't know where I left off on that. So let's just keep going. We're almost done with the Q&A anyways. I was at favorite authors. So one of my favorite authors is Lucy Score. Can never go wrong with her. I love her so much. I love her writing. Her Knock 'Em Out series was one of the first full series that I've read through. I've read Twilight, but I haven't read it fully. I've watched all the movies, but the Knock 'Em Out series, even though it's 3 books, but they're all 500 pages, they're beefy books. First series that I ever was excited for the release and read through in a day. So it is Lucy Score. And then my other favorite author is my near and dear bestie, A.E. Boss. I'm eating up her book. I'm devouring it. I'm almost done. I'm 88% done. And I'm so sad. So be prepared for next episode or the episode after that she'll probably be on to be interviewed. I can use my journalism degree. I'm so sad to almost be done. I love Asher and Andrew and Carson and Nate and Dan. I love them all. I'm so sad to be almost done with this. So yeah, those 2 are probably my favorite authors that I am aware of. Yeah, Emily Henry is up there too. I enjoy all of her books. And Holly Jackson. Holly Jackson writes some pretty good books. But otherwise, it's Lucy Score and A.E. Boss. Favorite drink. I am a coffee girl. I love a brown sugar shaken espresso. I love watermelon Red Bull. And I love me a sweet wine. That's what I'm drinking right now. I love cheap wine. Barefoot is my go-to. Why pay a pretty penny when cheap can get you through? Otherwise, no. Every day I drink a brown sugar shaken espresso that I make from home. And if I don't have that and I need a little pick-me-up in the afternoon, I will stop at Quick Trip and I will pick up a watermelon Red Bull. So those are my go-to drinks. Those are my favorite drinks. Ideal reading conditions. My ideal reading conditions is a day where it is stormy from the moment you wake up until you go to sleep. I want it to be nice and cool and windy and a little rumble of thunder. No responsibilities. House is clean. Everything is done. No work. No, you don't have to leave the house at all. Curled up on the couch with a blanket and either a glass of wine or hot chocolate. That is like my ideal perfect day. And a fireplace, like a fire going in the fireplace, so you get that little crackle of fire and the nice smell. Oh, I can't wait for days like those. Otherwise, most days when I read, I do just lay in bed. And I have my Kindle in a Kindle holder, and I have a little Kindle page turner. That's fun. I enjoyed that a lot. So yeah, that's my other ideal reading, is just laying in bed with the book on my Kindle, and I can snuggle up with the blanket up to like my chin and just have the page turner in my hand, and I don't have to worry about turning the page. And then the last one is physical, ebook, or audiobook. I prefer a physical book, but Kindle and my ebook is a close second. And then audiobook would have to be last, just because I do listen to so many podcasts that I prefer to listen to podcasts over listening to an audiobook. I have to be really, really, I don't think I can do like fantasy or like fiction over audio. When I think of audio, I think of podcasts and I think of real stories. So that's why I do best with like memoirs over audio. I just go right through them. So physical and ebook are pretty much tied. I love my paperbacks. I love my hardcovers, but I do like the convenience of having my book on my Kindle, and I can just take it with me everywhere, and I don't have to worry about it being really bulky or anything like that. So that's the last of my questions, and that's the last of what I have written down for a script type thing. Let me close this window because it's all of a sudden getting really bright outside, and it's not looking great on the camera. But yeah, that's the last of what I have written down. So right now I'm just freestyling it. I'm feeling like Eminem. Knees weak, arms are heavy, there's vomit on a sweater already. Mom, spaghetti. Okay, so right now I'm watching Pretty Little Liars. I'm almost done with season 2 now, and I told myself I'm going to finish Pretty Little Liars by the end of the year. So I've never watched it fully, but I think I know the spoilers of who A is, but I've never confirmed it. I've never looked it up, and I don't think I've ever seen clips straight from Pretty Little Liars to confirm the spoilers that I've heard on on Reddit or Twitter or anything like that. What's that one platform? That's Tumblr. Tumblr is where I first heard of this I'm forgetting words. Where I heard of the spoiler, where I read it, but I've never confirmed it. Like fully, truly confirmed if that is a spoiler or not. Like if that's true. So I'm tasking myself to watch all of Pretty Little Liars before the end of the year, because I've told myself for years and years and years that I want to watch it, and now I'm just going to sit down and do it. There's 7 seasons and like 20 to 25 episodes per season, which is insane. So many episodes, so it takes a long time to get through. And a lot of the episodes are starting to become repetitive, kind of, and I hope it's not like that for the rest of the seasons, because it's, oh no, A did this, oh no, I got hurt, oh no, this happened, oh, this friend betrayed us, oh, this, oh, that. It's kind of getting to be too similar in every episode, and it's not really catching my attention anymore. But who thought it was a good idea to have a 16-year-old be in love with her teacher? And like, what blew my mind was after Ezra got done teaching at Arya's high school, she ran into the parking lot and just started making out with him. Like, you don't think other teachers are gonna see, or people on the bus are gonna see? Like, it was right after bell rang, Ezra packed up his office or his classroom and went to his car, and she jumped up and like they were making out, and he spun her in a circle. And I was just like, in the school parking lot. Like, yeah, he's not your teacher anymore, but you're still a child. And he is a full-grown adult. He's probably, 23? Because I'm 23 and he's just graduated. So 22, 23, and a 16-year-old. I cannot fathom that. It's so crazy. It's so icky. And then when they go to Arya's parents thinking that everything's going to be all hunky-dory, perfectly fine. No. And Arya's still sneaking around to see him. Like, doesn't Ezra see an issue with that? Or is he just that much of a groomer and a pedophile? That's insane to me. And Spencer's really getting on my nerves right now. She's just always so knows better than everyone, and she knows everything, and she just keeps annoying me. And I don't know how much more of her that I can handle. Like, everything is woe is me. My family has to be perfect. Like, blah, 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 blah. She's just making me so mad. So that's my little rant about Pretty Little Liars. Like I said, I'm almost done with season 2. I'm going to be starting season 3 in probably like 2 more episodes. I think. I haven't watched it recently just because I've been so busy. And last night I played video games with my boyfriend and all of his work friends. And that was fun. We were playing Lethal Company, which is really scary because I have arachnophobia. And there's this really big spider in the game that comes and attacks you. Can't do it. And it's a proximity game. I think that's what you call it. Where the closer you are, you can hear them talking in game. But the farther you go away, like, you can't hear them anymore. So you can get lost and, like, no contact with that person until you get in range again. And then you're like, oh, I can hear you. Come this way, come closer, and then, yeah. So that game's really fun, but it's really hard and spooky. It's not, like, scary. It's really, really creepy and just, if you played it, you know. But I think it is really fun. It's a fun game. So I've just been so busy. I used to play video games all the time. I have a whole PC set up. And I was hardcore playing Stardew Valley and Sims, but especially Stardew Valley. I have over 100 hours put into that game. And then I just stopped playing because I've been so busy. But I really want to get back into playing. But I feel like with how busy I have been, it's almost impossible to fit everything I want to fit in a day. But summer's almost over, which I'm excited about. Fall weather gives me so much serotonin in my brain. I'm so excited. But my weekend should be starting to open up soon, and I'll have more free time. And especially if I start to better manage and time manage my days and, like, kind of block out my evenings after work, I'll be able to start managing more and incorporating more of my fun hobbies. I just have way too many hobbies. Like, I crochet, I read, I do social media, I play video games, I do social media for family members and, like, different pages that my family has, and just doing way too much. But I just need to prioritize what I want to do and what brings me the most joy, and then go down the list of, okay, like, this brings me joy, I want to do this. So put that at the top priority of making content and making posts and marketing and editing and all of that stuff. And reading, obviously. This is based around reading. So I need to incorporate that more and try and teach myself to be a faster reader, I guess. I don't know. I should be done with 2 books almost, or 2 books for this month so far, and we're 2 weeks in as of right now. I should be finishing Sign Here by A. Boss tonight. I think that's gonna be my goal for tonight, is to finish that, because I really want to know what happens and I need to know, but I'm so sad. And then I started Powerless when I started Sign Here, but I put that one down so I could focus on Sign Here. And now once that's done, I'm going to jump back into Powerless because I got like 50 pages in. So I'm not too far. It's not like I missed a lot. I still remember a lot of what happened in the first 50 to 100 pages. Excuse me. I already bought the novella. Is that what it's called? The Powerful. I already bought this because I just have a feeling that I'm going to love Powerless. And I'm excited to jump back into that soon. And yeah, I think that's going to be it for this episode. Sorry my voice is so raspy. I literally didn't think it hurt this bad until I started talking so much. But like I said, it is the wildfires in Canada and all the smoke coming down to northern Wisconsin and northern Minnesota, so that's fun. We are in the yellow on maps for air quality. Not the orange, but we're in kind of moderately not great. Moderately severe. Is that what it is? We're yellow on the map for air quality and to limit time outdoors. So, we love to hear that. But thank you guys so much for hanging out today. Make sure you go follow my social medias. They'll all be in the episode description. But again, my podcast Instagram is bookedup.pod. My personal Bookstagram is the McBook, MIKK for Mick. YouTube, it is Booked Up Podcast to see these episodes, to watch them instead of listening. You can find these episodes on Apple Podcast and Spotify, wherever you want to listen, YouTube to watch. I am now on Threads. I believe that's just my normal podcast, the bookedup.pod on Threads, if you want to follow me there. And I think that's all my social media. Oh, TikTok. I haven't uploaded a TikTok yet because I've had no time to make extra marketing, but I really should. But that one is the McBook, MIKK for Mick. Debating if I should make a separate Booked Up TikTok to just put clips from this on there and then make it consistent with everything being booked up, instead of flip-flopping from Booked Up to the McBook. I guess we'll just have to see. See how much time I have and how far I get with making TikTok clips. Anyways, I will be back next week with another episode of Booked Up. And I guess I will talk to you guys then. Bye.